Hello, hi, and welcome. If you are new here, my name is Sarah, and this is Wicked Reading. Today, I am going to be pulling bookmarks to determine part of my winter TBR. This is my very lazy TBR game in which I will blindly pull bookmarks from this bag just to show you guys the bookmarks. I have well over 200 bookmarks in this bag. There's so many that I've collected over the years, but I pretty much just pull a bookmark and I pick a book based on that bookmark, whether that be the imagery on the book, or I match the colors with the cover or the vibes of the bookmark. If it's like a gothic feel bookmark, maybe I'll pick a gothic book. I just pretty much make it up on the spot. This is kind of a fun way for me to kind of shop my shelves and look through my books with a different lens, potentially pick up books that I would have otherwise put off. So I'm going to be picking 10 books for my winter TBR, which are all going to come from my physical shelves. I'm only picking 10 because there's a lot of other video plans I have going on. So any book from my horror bingo TBR is potentially up for grabs as a book I read in the winter months. I might start another vlog for the horror bingo, so I might be reading that in the background, as well as there's a lot of end of year content coming up, and I do plan on doing some videos based on booktubers' favorite books of the year. So I need to leave some open space for those types of reads. But I still wanted to create a stack of books that when I'm not working on a particular video that I have a book to pick from, and this will push me to read my physical TBR. So let's just get right into it. Pull number 1. Oh, okay, so this is a very Halloween-esque bookmark. Very spooky season, jack-o'-lanterns, orange and black, you name it. Very Halloween-esque. I wonder if I have any books that take place on Halloween. I don't think I do. Or maybe if they just take place in October or during spooky season. This one was really hard, so I don't have anything that I know of for sure that takes place on Halloween, and I don't have anything with pumpkins on the cover. So I decided to go for a book that's black and orange because this is very much black and orange. So my only black and orange book I own is Cicada by Tanya Pell. So I'm gonna pick this for this bookmark. This book is part of the Killer VHS series by Shortwave Publishing. In this book, we follow our main character, Ash, and she is at a horror film festival. And the movie that they're watching is about a giant killer cicada. But while they are watching the movie, they realize they may actually be currently starring in the sequel. So this has to do with a giant killer cicada, and that's all I'm going in with. I don't really read a lot of creature feature, monster-esque books, so I'm looking forward to this. I do expect it to have a little bit more of a comedic undertone, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, that first one was way harder than I expected it to be, so let's see what comes of the second pull. Oh, this one's so cute. I've pulled this before. So this is a cute little Frankenstein ghost. I love it. It's adorable. Frankenstein retellings and Frankenstein reimagining stories are like one of my favorites. One of my favorite niche horror subgenres. Love Frankenstein-inspired stories. That being said, do I have any that I haven't read yet? I don't have any other Frankenstein-inspired stories that I haven't read yet, except one, but I want to keep that unread for now because it's a potential for horror bingo, and I want to make sure that that's an option for horror bingo pretty much, and these books are all separate from my horror bingo TBR. So I decided to go with one that kind of reflects the essence of what Frankenstein is, which is this scientific horror. And for that, I'm going to then match it with Leech by Hirin Ennis. I'm not totally sure how to say that author's name, because this is a very medical gothic horror story. So it sounds very much up the same alley. We're not dealing with a monster though in this one. In this case, we are actually dealing with a parasite spreading through this castle. We are following a doctor at a medical institute. It says the institute is here to help humanity to cure and to cut to cradle and protect the species from the apocalyptic horrors their ancestors unleashed. One of the blurbs says, a wonderful new entry to Gothic science fiction, impeccably clever and atmospheric, think Wuthering Heights with worms. So Gothic science fiction, enough said. I feel like that's exactly what Frankenstein is. So this is my book number 2. I actually did previously start Leech, but it felt very, I guess we'll say cerebral. I just was not in the headspace to follow the narrative that was being thrown at me. It seemed like very confusing in the beginning, but I soft DNF'd it, just knowing I wasn't prepared for this type of narrative at that time. So hopefully my second go through, I'll be able to grasp the narrative a little bit better. Ooh, okay, so I liked that one. That one worked out really good. Pick number 3. I'm just gonna go right in. Oh my God, guys. This is, okay, so this is a Nightworms bookmark, and it's literally Echoes of Frankenstein. It's a freaking Frankenstein inspired bookmark. I'm going to pretend that this didn't happen. I'm going to veto this one because we literally just pulled one like that. So this can also just go towards Leech, in my opinion. I don't have another book. And I also want to get some variety. So I'm vetoing this one. It's way too similar to the last pull. So that one was fake. This is the real third pull. Oh, okay. Oop, I dropped it. This is an interesting one. This is a Fairy Loot bookmark. So I think that the only correct answer for this is to put a Fairy Loot book on my TBR, which honestly is great because I need the push to read my Fairy Loot books. I have so many Fairy Loot backlist books, you guys, that I have not read, like, or even thought of, or even looked at, you know? So I've been highly avoiding my Fairy Loot collection. So now I gotta pick one. I think I'll go with this. The Fairy Loot book I picked doesn't necessarily match like the look or style of this bookmark. It just is a Fairy Loot book, but it's one that isn't my most recent, isn't my most backlist, but I at least have interest in, and that is Silver in the Bone by Alexandra Bracken. This has to deal with grave robbers, people called the Hollower, and they break into ancient crypts of dark sorceresses in search of the treasures inside. Rumors are swirling about a powerful ring from Arthurian legend, a ring that could free her brother from a curse, but they aren't the only ones who covet it. Okay, so we follow our main character, Tamsin. She has a brother who is cursed, and she's looking for a magical ring to break that curse. And it says Arthurian legend based. So yeah, I've had some interest in this. I just have not had the draw or push to pick it up until now. So this is my Fairy Loot pick. Okay, moving right along. Ooh, okay, this is cute. So this is a purple and white, which matches my outfit. And it's just, it literally just says spooky vibes. So we're gonna go, can you see that? Can you see that? There we go. So we're gonna go for a book with spooky vibes. Easy as that. Okay, I think I have the perfect book because I think it matches both in spooky vibes and also it's nice and bright and colorful, and that is The Merciless by Danielle Vega. This is actually a YA book. All I know is it's a YA possession story. And I don't even have a synopsis to really tell you guys of. Oh wait, there is actually a synopsis on the inside. So it says, Brooklyn Stevens sits in a pool of her own blood, tied up and gagged. No one outside of these dank basement walls knows she's there. No one can hear her scream. Sophia Flores knows she shouldn't have gotten involved. When she befriended the popular girls on her first day at school, she admired their perfect hair and their good girl ways. They said they wanted to save Brooklyn. They wanted to help her. Sophia didn't realize they believed Brooklyn was possessed. Now Sophia's new friends are performing an exorcism on Brooklyn, but their idea of an exorcism is closer to torture than salvation. I'm really excited for this, actually. This is another one that I kind of just don't think about, and I forget I have, and there's just no drive or motivation to pick it up because nobody else is really reading it at this time. This is quite a backlist. This was actually published in 2014, and it's a YA book, which I'm not naturally drawn toward, but I do want to read more possession books, so this is the perfect opportunity and perfect excuse to finally put this on a TBR stack. I'm really glad that I'm getting a lot of different bookmarks. I've had quite a few repeat pulls, so hopefully we stay on that and I keep picking new ones that I haven't pulled before. Oh, this one has a ribbon on it, I could tell. Oh, okay. So this is a bookmark I've made, and it's very florally with butterflies and florals, who would have thought? And it's very blue, turquoisey yellow. So I might match like the colors of this. And I kind of want to try to get a fantasy. Do I have a fantasy that would match this? Okay, you guys, I have two options and I'm equally terrified of both. So I don't know which one to go with. Both of these very much match the color theory going on with this bookmark, but they're both really chunky fantasies that I'm intimidated by. The first one being The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. So it very much has like that blue-yellow situation going on. I should take this half-price books tag off. Hold on. Thank God they have good stickers because that came off so easily. So there you go. There's that one. My other option, and I feel like this matches maybe a little bit more, and that is Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler. And I feel like it just has a little bit more yellow going on. So I feel like the color theory is a little closer. I'm just so scared of this, you guys, because it's just a really chunky, high fantasy book, and I just have not delved super deep into high fantasy. But I think I'm gonna go with this one over Fifth Season. I think that it just has a little bit more yellow, it matches a little bit more, and quite frankly, either one of these getting read will be a miracle. I'm just gonna read the synopsis for this too because it's a fantasy, so I don't really know. I know that there's like a brother and sister involved, and I'm pretty sure I've heard that this is like inspired by Star Wars, I think. Don't quote me though. It says, not even the ties of blood will keep them from splitting the world in two. Surrounded by the relics of a dead empire, two siblings, one who wields magic for the empire and the other who has vowed to bring it all down, will battle for the fate of their world. So this is the first book of a trilogy. It doesn't really say too much more. There's blurbs, but they're all very vague. So yeah, a brother and a sister on different sides of a war or rebellion. Yeah, okay. Definitely curious to see what I end up thinking about this. A little bit scared, but it's gonna happen. Okay, halfway there. Now book number 6. Oh, I love this bookmark. This is a super cute, just a pink Mothman bookmark. Okay. What do I do with this? Do I have any pink books I haven't read? Because I know I don't have any books about Mothman or cryptids in general. I don't think I have any books that I know of that have a cryptid. This one, I think it matches. You could argue, but I think it matches. You didn't notice before, this bookmark has pink and red in it because his eyes are red. So I'm gonna go for this book, which is Woo Woo by Ella Baxter, because it is pink and red. And actually there's eyeballs, so there you go. Because I wanted to get more variety, and this is like a literary fiction. This is very much like a character study-esque type of book. It says it's a thrilling and eccentric novel about what it means to make art as a woman and about the powerful forces of voyeurism, obsession, and online performance. We follow a main character named Sabine, and she is a conceptual artist on the verge of an exhibition of self-portraits she hopes will be pivotal as she plunges deeper into her neurosis and seeks validation in relationships with her frustratingly rational chef husband, her horde of devoted Gen Z TikTok followers, and even a mysterious, potentially violent stalker. It says, Ella Baxter approaches the desire to see and be seen that defines both the creative and romantic act with humor, empathy, and a good dose of wildness, driving Sabine to a surreal and compelling climax that forces her and us to reconsider what it means to be an artist and a partner. I'm looking super forward to this. This year I read New Animal by Ella Baxter. one of my favorite books ever, I think, like ever. One of my all-time favorites. So I've been very eager to check out more of Ella Baxter's work, and this is her newest release. So I'm excited to be able to get this on the list. Give them a good mix, flop them around a little bit. Oh, okay, this is cute. So this is a bookmark from Bookish Babe Designs. Is Designs in her name? Bookish Babe. I'll link her Instagram down below because she does a bunch of really cute bookish stuff. So this is a seasonal bookmark she did, and I think it's for spring. It's either spring or summer, which kind of sucks because this is my winter TBR. So, what do I want to do with this? This is harder than the first one. I have no idea what to do with this. Oh, you know what? I think I've made up my mind. This is, oh, you know what? No, I think I actually nailed this. I was gonna say this might be pushing it, or like, what's the word I want? Stretching it. This might be stretching it a little bit, but actually I think it's even closer than I thought. So this was like a very spring-esque vibe. There's butterflies, some foliage, books, glasses, and some lemons, I'm assuming. That's a lemon. I don't know if that's a lemon, but yeah, kind of very spring. So I decided to pick Wayward by Amelia Hart because one, I think that the color theory is pretty similar, but there's some fruit which arguably looks like this fruit. I don't think it's the same fruit, but it looks like it. And there's some foliage and it's green, and I feel like this is a springy feel witch book. So I think that goes. This story is very much a literary witchy story. We follow 3 different timelines, 2019, 1619, and 1942. And I believe we follow different women in those time periods and kind of how their stories overlap or have a lot of similarities based on witchy capabilities. I'm sure it has a lot to do with feminist themes, as witchy stuff tends to do. It mentions female resilience and the transformative power of the natural world. So now that I've talked about it more, I think it fits even more. How many, what do we got? 2, 4, 6, 7. Okay, 3 more to go. Oh my God. So this is another Mothman one, but it's just the black version. Okay, all right. That's kind of boring. That's anticlimactic. Let's see, what can I do? Not gonna lie, part of me wants to veto this, but I've already vetoed one, so I feel like I should only veto one. Okay, you know what? I have an option. I have a good option, actually. So I decided to go again with the color theory, black and red and white, and I have a book that matches that perfectly, and that is Audition by Ryu Murakami. This is a revenge horror story. Let's see. It says, in this gloriously over-the-top tale, Aorama, a widower who has lived alone with his son since his wife died 7 years ago, decides that it is time to remarry. Since Aorama is a bit rusty when it comes to dating, a filmmaker friend proposes that he stage auditions for a movie he never intends to produce in order to cast the perfect woman as his bride. Only one of the applicants catches Aorama's attention, Yamasaki Asami, a striking young ballerina with a mysterious past. Blinded by his infatuation, Aorama discovers too late that she is a far cry from the innocent young woman he imagined her to be. I think that it might be a revenge story. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. I'll find out. But this actually worked out really well. And I'm glad to have a slightly shorter book on the stack because, yeah, we've been getting quite a few chunky ones. So, excited for this. Here we go again. Oh, okay. This is another bookmark by Bookish Babe Designs, and it is Forbidden Romance. So this was like part of a pack she did of fantasy romance tropes, and each bookmark had a different trope. I have the full pack, so there's like 4 others in there. So Forbidden Romance, I don't know if I have a book that specifically has that trope. That would be a good idea. I think though I'm just gonna try to find a fantasy romance because I don't have that many to begin with. So to find one that's so specific that it's Forbidden Romance, I don't know if I'll be able to do. So let me see what I have. So my fantasy romance pick is going to be The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. I don't think it's a Forbidden Romance, but it's a fantasy romance, so good enough for me. We follow a main character who is a warrior princess who was trained in isolation, Laura, and she is set up to marry a king under the guise of peace. But she has other motivations, and she actually wants to figure out ways to fracture this king's forces and army and all of that. Yet, as she infiltrates her new home and gains a deeper understanding of the war to possess the bridge, Laura begins to question whether she's the hero or the villain, as her feelings for her husband transform from frosty hostility to fierce passion. Laura must choose which kingdom she'll save and which she'll destroy. I read A Fate Inked in Blood by this author. I had a fun time with it. I thought it was fun, so I enjoyed that. So I'm excited to check out another work by her. This is the last bookmark pull for my winter TBR. Ooh, this feels different. Oh, okay. So, oh, all right. This is a bookmark that I got while I was in Italy. So this is actually from Venice. So it's supposed to be a painting from the view of being in one of the Venetian gondolas. Forgot what they call it for a second, but I got this in Italy. Okay, what do I want to do with this? This is going to be a stretch, you guys. So when I was in Italy, I bought 2 books. Okay, I bought an Emily Dickinson collection of poems, and I bought this book about bats and Dracula and the lore, both of which are in Italian, so I can't read them. I mean, technically I could read the Emily Dickinson collection of poems because it's both in English and Italian, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna read a collection of poems, sorry. But the other book, I can't read it all, but it is about vampires and Dracula. So I'm stretching it so hard, but because I got that book in Italy, I'm going to pick a book that is vampiric. So for that, and this bookmark doesn't match it visually at all, but for that, I'm gonna go with Blood on Her Tongue by Johanna van Veen. This is about 2 sisters. One of them ends up in a lunatic asylum with very strange, weird symptoms. Nobody knows what's going on with her, and it's up to the other sister to help either get her out or kind of just like figure out what actually did happen to her sister. And yeah, but everybody says that this is a vampire book. I did initially talk about this in my horror bingo TBR, but I have since learned that the spot that I was hoping to use this for, it actually doesn't apply to it with hard mode considered. So this is not officially on my horror bingo TBR, but I really want to read it. Even just looking at these 2 together, they don't look great together, but this is going to be my 10th book. So here are all of the books that I picked through bookmarks. These are the 10 books that I'm going to have on my winter TBR, in addition to some other books that I'll probably read. Horror bingo TBR will probably end up being somewhat accomplished during those months, so if you're curious to see what books might end up popping up, check out my horror bingo TBR for that. But otherwise, here's the stack. It's quite eclectic, but I love it. We have a lot of variety. We have gothic, we got lit fic, we have fantasy, high fantasy, fantasy romance, and horror, science fiction. So I like it. I dig it. I'm excited. A lot of these books I needed the push to pick up. A lot of these books have been sitting on my shelves for a little bit too long. But that is it. That is everything for today's video. If you've read any of the books that I put on my TBR, let me know what you thought about them down below. If you made it to this point in the video and want to let me know you were here but have nothing else to say, leave me a blood drop emoji in the comments down below to match the bloody sprayed edges of Blood on Her Tongue. As always, thank you so much for spending some of your time with me while I talk about books. If you haven't yet, please give the video a like, subscribe for future content, turn on the bell notification, all the fun YouTube things that help your girl out, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!